And tonight we're very excited to be having Dr. Gundle, Avraham Gundle, and he asked me to tell you all why we chose him to come and speak. And I heard him speak at a Nefesh B'Nefesh event. I think it was a year ago, can't remember now, in Jerusalem. It was very nice. It was all health oriented. And he gave his talk, and I was so impressed that I really wanted him to come speak for more seniors. And he very generously agreed to do it. And we're very happy to have him. I think you'll all learn a lot. It's a topic I think that most doctors don't even understand. I mean, medical doctors. Dr. Gundle is a doctor too. Okay, so he sent me a bio to introduce him. And he was born and raised in South Africa. He originally qualified in finance and economics in the United States. And after working in business for some years, he recognized his true vocation lay in health and healing. He spent years independently traveling the world, meeting and get to know a variety of cultures and healing practices. On returning to the UK, he completed a degree in osteopathic medicine and naturopathy. He has also completed advanced professional training in mind-body medicine through the Center for Mind-Body Medicine in Washington. He's the founder and director of the Center for Integrated Medicine in Ramat Beit Shemesh. Over the last 30 years, he's been in private practice, and he's been helping people with chronic and complex medical issues. We've tried all sorts of other approaches, but with limited success. He has been privileged to have helped many people to heal from diverse range of health conditions like digestive problems, autoimmune disorders, anxiety, eczema, diabetes, just to name a few. He's developed a groundbreaking online program called 12 Weeks to Heal Your Gut. And his special focus is on gut health. And he believes it's the root of most illnesses, which I think people realize now that the flora and fauna of your intestines causes all sorts of diseases that they didn't realize before. He lives in Ramat Beit Shemesh with his wife, and they are blessed with 5 children and 3 grandchildren. And he consults and offers workshops and teaches internationally. And he's going to be publishing a book called Unlocking the Secrets to Health and Healing Through Ancient Jewish Wisdom. I hear you're a rabbi too, someone told me, but you don't mention it. You have rabbinic ordination. So I think we're very excited to hear Dr. Gundle.
Great, thank you. Welcome. And I'm so happy that you're all here. And thank you to you, Edie, for giving me this opportunity to share with you. So welcome, everybody. Thank you so much for joining. And thank you to you, Edie, for really giving me the opportunity to share this topic that I'm pretty passionate about. And I have a gift for all of you. In fact, I've got 3 gifts. The first gift, I'm just going to post a link in the chat. The gift is to say well done and to celebrate that you've taken time in to your life today. There are probably more than 10 things that you can be doing with your time right now, but you chose to show up for yourself, to level up your health on all planes, hopefully, with what I'm going to share with you. So I want to just acknowledge that, because it's not so straightforward that people are self-starters and lifelong learners and want to show up to help themselves. So I'm going to share a link in the chat, and then when you stay towards the end, I'm going to share with you 2 other very important pieces of 2 other gifts that will, with a newly updated recipe book to help increase absorption and bone and brain health, which I'll get to a little bit later. So they'll be in the chat. I'll send them in again in the chat later. So you don't have to be involved with downloading them here. I'll send them in the replay as well. I want to just kick off with a disclaimer that it's so important for anything you learn here today, and we will have live Q&A afterwards as well. For anything you learn today, to please check with your primary healthcare practitioner before you bring these things into your life, because if for those of you who are on medication, there could be changes in your physiology, in your biochemistry as a result of the good things you're doing, and meds may need to be changed up or down, or new symptoms may come up. So please use this just as a learning opportunity, and take them into your doctor to work with and integrate in your own way, at your own pace. For those of you who have a pen and paper to hand, it's a good thing because there's going to be some info coming your way, and this is probably a good time to do that. So we are still in January. It's January the 17th, and January is the beginning of the year. And I love the fact that there's a teaching of Reb Levi Yitzhak Berditchev, who teaches that whenever there is a new year or a new celebration amongst the other nations, there's a special light that's in the world that us too can take advantage of that new beginning. And I don't know about you, but I'm constantly falling off the wagon with all sorts of false starts of things that I'm doing in my personal life. So I'm always looking for an excuse to begin again new. And just next week, we've got Tu B'Shvat, the new year for the trees. The Torah compares mankind to trees. So we have another opportunity to begin again new. So whatever I share with you today, you don't manage to incorporate it into your life over the next week, don't worry, you've got another start next week as well. And the truth is, we all know and believe that Kodesh Baruch Hu is renewing creation, not every day, but every moment of every day. So whenever you decide to begin again new and just start again, you can. The only thing keeping us locked in not starting is the thought that we can't, or it's too difficult. And my invitation to you is to put those thoughts to the side, open up a fresh page, a new cup, and it's never, ever too late to start to make changes, even incrementally. So here we are at the beginning of the year. And I want to just invite you, as this is going to be an interactive webinar, I'm going to invite you to share in the chat, and some of the questions I may ask, if you want to share to me privately, that's fine too. Or if you want to share to the group, that's fine too, whatever makes you comfortable. But I'd like to invite you to do a quick eyes closed visualization process. So for those of you who have never done any visualization, don't worry. If you've ever dreamed, or if you've ever known anybody that has dreamed, you can do this. So you don't have to have your eyes closed, especially if you're driving and listening, but having your eyes closed just encourages your awareness to come inside your body, and you'll get better results this way. So let's kick off with a new year pre-Tu B'Shvat visualization process. So just join me, sitting up in your chairs, and if you're comfy, just closing your eyes. And if you want to peek, that's fine too. Take a nice deep breath in through your nose. And as you breathe out, just allow your shoulders to drop down. Taking another deep cleansing breath in. And this time as you breathe out, unhinge your jaw, unfurrow your brow, and feel your back resting against the back of your chair and your feet softly on the floor. As you continue to breathe at a pace and rate that's natural and comfortable for you. Just imagine going into your little time machine and being transported to December the 31st, 2024. You're at the end of the year. A whole 12 months has passed. If you can set an intention, a dream, a tefillah, a prayer of how you would like to be in your best health at the end of this year, if you can just get a sense or knowing or even an image, what does that look like for you? What are you able to do? How are you standing? How are you being? How are you breathing? What's your face look like? What clothes do you have on your being? Just get a sense of your best self at the end of the year. with all your medical challenges fully healed and fully solved, and you're feeling and looking radiant and mobile and flexible and upbeat and optimistic and buoyant, get a sense or image of how that is for you. Maybe see yourself in a beautiful place in nature or wherever it may be. Just a sense of knowing is good enough. And if you have some sort of sense of knowing, take a moment and just turn this vision, this visualization into a prayer. As the Kotzker Rebbe always teaches in answer to the prayer, where is Hashem? Wherever we let him in. So taking a moment and just asking HaKadosh Baruch Hu to let this vision be a reality for you. And then taking a moment, bringing this vision with you back in your time machine to January the 7th, 17th, at this webinar, wherever you are, at this time in your place. Take a deeper breath in, wiggling around your fingers and toes, having a little stretch, coming back to our Zoom room. And just go ahead and type in the chat, what one word or one phrase are you aware of that came up for you? More energy, more movement, whatever it happens to be, where you are in nature, just share, give me a sense in the chat. Did you get an image? What came up for you? As this is going to be an interactive webinar. You see, if we can entertain an image in our mind of how we'd like to be, that image can be cast into reality. This is how HaKadosh Baruch Hu set up creation. So it's so important at the beginning, we're doing a gut health webinar to set your intention for yourself. I'm going to be challenging you towards the end of this webinar, what it is that you want for yourself. So someone's written in peaceful, healthy, release of tension, clear vision, peacefulness. Thank you. Vibrant and energetic, hiking. Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you for that. And the more you can get that image clear, the more this can become your reality, because this image will draw you towards it. So thanks so much for sharing so fully in that process. Now, a lot of you may be thinking, I don't have a gut issue. Why should I bother staying the course for this webinar? And I'm going to share with you, and maybe I'll do that right now, 2 fundamental reasons why, even though you do not have a digestive problem, why you want to understand what it is I'm going to share with you. Because over 80% of our immune system is in the gut. That means any cough, any cold, any sniffle, any lung condition, any inflammation, 80% of our immune system is mediated through having a healthy gut. So the healthier and more vibrant our digestive system, the healthier and more vibrant our immune system is. So even if you don't have a gut problem, you want to learn about how to nourish and strengthen your gut. It is like a limb of your body. To be able to have full dexterity of your hands, you want to be able to exercise and use them in all your fingers. So do your gut. It's a limb, and it needs to be exercised and nourished in a conscious, intentional way, so your immune system could be vibrant and active the whole year round. The second reason why you want to nourish your gut and learn about it, even if you do not have a gut problem, is because over 50% of dopamine and over 95% of serotonin, 2 most important neurotransmitters, are made not in the brain, but are made in your gut. These neurotransmitters are so important for sleep regulation, for mood, for digestion, for motivation, for having a positive, upbeat perspective on life. These are the key neurotransmitters that are at the root of our mental health and buoyancy and stability. They are made in the gut. And I'll just illustrate this point with you. My wife is a family therapist. And recently on one of my webinars, she attended and heard me speaking about pre and post prebiotics and postbiotics and probiotics, which I'll cover a little bit towards the end. And I suggested a small thing a person can do to help increase the gut flora and stimulate serotonin dopamine production. Now, she was treating a patient who was maxed out on her antidepressant and anti-anxiety medication and did not want to take any more because of risk of side effects. All she did was add in these two suggestions I mentioned that my wife learned on my webinar. I'll cover them shortly. And within 3 days, this woman had regained her composure because her neurochemistry was now working well simply by changing her gut microbiome. So whether you have a gut problem or not, it's so important to make sure that we are nourishing our gut in the right way. Now, some of my patients have said to me, how did you get into this field? Well, I'll just tell you quickly that my grandmother of blessed memory had a major gut problem. And had she had access to this information, she probably would have suffered less and maybe have even avoided it in her later years. And that was a big motivation of mine, is working with and empowering people who are over 60, let's say over 65, who can really, really advance their health and well-being and have more life, less suffering, greater longevity, greater vitality. And why not? It's available with a few interventions. That's the first intervention, this first reason that got me into this field. The second one was to be blessed with a special needs child who has gut problems. And it took me traveling around the world pretty much and learning and discovering from experts in the field in gut health and applying that to her. And she has been significantly helped as well. So these are two of my main motivations in terms of what got me into this field. And I was blessed with a sluggish gut. I got a lot of goodies from my parents, and this is one of them. And through my learning and studying, applying my knowledge to patients, I was able to help myself and have a healthy, robust digestive system as a result of the knowledge and information I'm going to share with you today. So if you're willing, go ahead and just type in the chat. Do you have a gut problem? Do you have a digestive issue? Do you have a diagnosis? Tell me just a little bit about, and you're welcome just to share privately in the chat if you want to do that also. Just let me know who's here so I can gear the webinar towards your needs. So if you have a diagnosis, share it. If you have a general health challenge, not a gut problem, share that with me so I can get a sense of who's here. Good. Someone said they have no problem at all. Wonderful. That means you'll be able to take your health to the next level by supporting your gut as well. So if you have a diagnosis or if you have a health challenge, just type that in the chat. That way I can serve you best. Wonderful. Thank you. Someone's shared they have IBS, IBS as well. My husband has an issue. Okay. Someone says, who doesn't have a gut problem? That's true. We're going to talk about that a little bit as well. So I shared with you my two most important reasons why you want to help your gut, even though you don't have a gut problem. And I'm going to share with you now some other very important reasons. So let's continue here. This is what I call the gut everything connection. The gut everything connection is exactly why you want to be focusing on having outstanding gut health, especially as we age, as there are significant changes that take place, which I'm going to cover shortly. Now, here are my top 6 of the main systems that the gut influences. Now, the first is the gut-brain axis. What is an axis? An axis is two-way traffic. The best way I can explain what an axis is, it's bidirectional. You can imagine a baby in her mother's tummy. That everything the mother experiences, feels, tastes, touches, hears, etc., everything the mother experiences, the baby experiences as well. And even more so, everything that the baby is experiencing, the health of the baby will directly affect the health of the mother. This is how our gut works. This is how our microbiome works. So the gut-brain axis is one of those pathways that how your gut The health of your gut will directly affect your gut. In fact, there was a recent piece of research in the Neuroscience News which showed a significant correlation between 10 types of gut bacteria and the likelihood of developing dementia and Alzheimer's disease. This is just through gut bacteria. Through these kinds of bacteria, they can influence brain health, and if done correctly, can reduce cognitive decline significantly. So it's very important access to get right. And the gut immune axis is that relationship between our digestive system and our immune system. There's certain bacteria in the gut, if they're out of balance, can secrete toxins, and these can trigger what's called a neuroinflammatory condition. That is when the nervous system becomes inflamed and affects our neurology. So it can affect the meninges in the brain and brain function, brain fog, poor memory, etc. It can also trigger rheumatoid arthritis or autoimmune diseases, Hashimoto's thyroiditis, for example. But the healthier your gut, the healthier your immune system. The next is called the gut-skin axis. And the recent PubMed research article showed the relationship between healthy gut bacteria and the skin. So if someone has dermatitis or psoriasis or even dandruff, that could be influenced by the gut. And the PubMed research pointed to that even certain kinds of skin cancer can have their roots in the digestive system. The gut metabolism axis, people often struggle with weight gain or stubborn weight gain and weight issues, and often forget about factoring the gut health into this equation. So this is another reason why gut health is on the map, because of the gut metabolism axis. The gut sleep axis will help. A healthy gut will directly affect the quality of your sleep, your REM sleep, your deep restorative sleep, and this is mediated through the vagus nerve, which is the rest and digest part of your nervous system. This is the parasympathetic nervous system. So even just taking a nice deep breath in, let's all do that now, sitting up in your chairs. A nice deep breath in and breathing out. Not only does this oxygenate your brain, but it also stimulates the vagus nerve, which helps to settle and calm your gut and help the brain as well. Then we have the gut hormone axis, where certain gut bacteria can influence our hormonal system. Even things like progesterone and estrogen can be affected by gut bacteria. Now, every day, science and medicine are discovering new gut axes. I've created a video called the Gut Everything Connection, and it's on my YouTube channel. You can check that out. So this is there's a growing body of evidence supporting the imperative focus on gut health. So now that we know a little bit about how gut health can impact your overall energy levels, reduce cognitive decline, preventing or slowing down dementia, etc., let's look at a model to understand how to put all this into practice. There's what I call a new paradigm for healing. And what this is, it's born out of an understanding of something called functional and integrated medicine. The current medical model, as fantastic as it is with its imaging and life-saving interventions, does not significantly handle chronic diseases very well. However, a functional medicine model where you're looking at an individualized, patient-centered process that empowers both the doctor and the patient to work together to look for the root cause of illness. So, for example, take this tree here, which is going to be a pot plant. In your apartment, if you've got a pot plant, or in your garden, here's a tree with all these leaves. Now, if you see that either the leaves or some of the fruit of these leaves are withering, every gardener or person with a green thumb will know that what they need to do is go down the tree and look at the roots and recognize is this plant getting too much sunlight, too little sunlight? What's the water level like? The hydration like? What's the pH of the soil like? Too acid, too alkaline? Do I need some more micronutrients? Whatever the factors that need to be to take care of having a thriving plant. So on the one hand, you want to take care of that ailing leaf or that fruit. On the other hand, you must go to the root and understand what are the drivers. And the question you always want to be asking yourself and your medical health practitioner is, what is the root of this? In addition to perhaps taking the medicine, what it is, also understand, where is this coming from? What is the root cause of this condition? And my favorite analogy is, you can imagine in Israel, most contractors like this plaster, they're called spachtel, and any problem, if there's a leak in the roof, then they'll just take this white out and just, white it over and say, yeah, besed, it will be fine. But unless you go to the root of the problem, where the neighbor upstairs keeps running, forgetting to turn their bath off, and it's overflowing onto your roof, it's really not going to help your leak by putting on this whiteout, is it? So you want to always be looking to the root of the issue. Why have you got this challenge? What is it all about? Part of the new paradigm to healing is to put you at the center. The latest research on epigenetics, which is how genes affect our health, is that our lifestyle choices that we make, the thoughts we think, the friends we hang out with, the socialization we do, the sleep we get, the exercise we do, the food all the lifestyle things you do have a significant impact on your health and well-being. And it's so important to shift your mindset to recognize that you are the driver of your own health and well-being. What this means is you are responsible for your health and well-being. Just as you wouldn't let a child run out into the street because you're responsible for that child, so too, each one of us is responsible for our health. And yes, we must work with a team and doctors, etc. At the end of the day, the decision is ours, how we choose to spend our days advancing our health and vitality. So I've created a small model for you to get a better sense of how this pans out. This new way of healing, I call self-care being the heart of healthcare. And I have this little emoji handheld heart that I've created just to remind me and my patients that self-care is the heart of healthcare. And I don't mean only having a manicure, a facial, or a pedicure. I'm referring specifically to all the positive self-talk that you offer yourself, the positive lifestyle commitments that you make for yourself, be it how you eat, your eating choices, your socialization, your decisions to put yourself and your needs squarely on the map. It starts with you. So at the core of this picture is self-care is the heart of healthcare. And then expanding out to that is your lifestyle choices. Every single lifestyle choice that's positive will have a significant impact in your health and well-being. That study on epigenetics shows that about 20 to 30% of our health is kind of dictated by genetics, but 70 to 80% of our health is in our own hands by the choices that we make. If you choose to take a walk, if you choose to make a smarter food choice, if you choose to get more early to bed, or laugh more, etc. in your life, all these will turn off the disease genes in our body, and over time lay a foundation for strong vital health that we can age youthfully and with longevity. So outside health, making healthy lifestyle choices are making smart food choices, getting functional health care, meaning a bigger picture perspective on your health and well-being, and to consider taking food, supplements, vitamins, minerals, etc. And then obviously if there's the need to take medication or surgery or other medical interventions. The current medical model is reversed, where medication and surgery is in the corner, is in the heart. And when all else fails eventually, then the specialist may say, take it easy, rest up a little bit more, or handle your stress better. And what I'm suggesting is we turn this model inside out, so you are the driver of your health and well-being from today, from this moment forward. The decisions you make will impact your tomorrow. There's no question about it. So it's about saying yes more to life-affirming activities and say no to those things that are unsupportive of your health and well-being. So I'd like to invite you to think about if you have a health routine in your day, be it a morning routine, be it a walk or drinking water or whatever it happens to be. What is your morning routine? Go type in the chat if you have some sort of day routine or evening routine that helps to support your health and well-being. That way I can get a sense of, do you have a routine, a health and well-being routine in place? So I encourage you to look at a morning routine before you get swallowed up into the busy errands of the day. Get in a walk, get in some more water or green juices or whatever it happens to be that you decide with your healthcare practitioner. But a morning routine is great. A bedtime routine is great. I have both of these in place. Part of my morning routine, even in the winter, and I've been doing it for over 3 years, is a cold plunge. I have an ice bath, and it's about 10 degrees Celsius right now. And yesterday morning it was raining. Got up for nates in the ice bath. It is very uncomfortable, but there's so much research attesting to its metabolic and brain health, etc. benefits. So it's uncomfortable behavior, but it's part of my morning routine that sets me up for success during my day. My evening routine is a wind down routine that maybe we can go into a little bit later. So some of you have put in the chat, you swim, you do aerobics, yoga, healthy breakfast, water. Fantastic. Okay, that's amazing. And for those of you who don't have some sort of habit, some sort of routine, I invite you and encourage you to think about putting that into your day. I'd like to share with you now the 4 E's to having great gut health. But just before we do that, let's take another gut health deep breath in. So sitting up in your chair, take a nice deep breath in. This is the audience participation section, breathing in through your nose. And as you breathe out, soften your shoulders, move your body around. This helps to activate your parasympathetic nervous system, your vagus nerve. And if some of you are yawning, that's a wonderful sign. It means that the oxygen to your brain is calming and settling your nervous system. Let's take another one of those, breathing in through your nose. And as you breathe out, relax your chest, relax your gut. And now that your gut is rested and your brain is activated, let's look at my 4 E's to having great gut health. So the 4 steps to great gut health. The first one has to be E for exercise. There is so much research about the value of exercise for gut health. In fact, recently they just proved that walking stimulates and turns on specific microbes in the gut. So that's not necessarily exclusive to walking, but if you don't have a regular exercise routine in your day, I invite you to work with your doctor and find something that's safe and appropriate for you. I'm going to be sharing with you an amazing link in the chat towards the end about what is the best exercise for gut health and longevity. So stay tuned. Towards the end, I'm going to share with you an incredible piece of research where you'll discover what is the best form of exercise for longevity and gut health. So when you have your exercise taken care of, research shows that just 11 to 15 minutes of walking a day at a certain pace could increase your life expectancy by 15 years. That's an incredible, incredible piece of research. So just a shorter amount of effort can produce such a lasting result. So I'm going to share with you what is the best form of exercise towards the end. I'll just tell you that exercise is not only about giving you long-term benefits, I want to share with you a personal story is that of my father. My father should be well, he's 87 years old, and he's still going to work. He's living in London, and he's walking to the office, and the pavement was up at an angle, and he tripped on the pavement, and he fell straight flat down onto his face.
Ooh.
Moments before that, he put out his hands and caught his body just before he had his face meet the pavement. Had he not had his hands out, he would have definitely broken his nose, maybe fractured his skull, broken his teeth, or perhaps his jaw, an 87-year-old man. However, he picked himself up, he dusted himself off, and he continued to work. Why was he able to do this? He was able to do this because he has a personal trainer at my recommendation, which he's been doing for the last 20 years or so. And one of his activities is push-ups. He can do 30 push-ups in one go at the age of 87. These push-ups saved his life literally. He fell onto his face, and his wrists and hands and arms and shoulders were strong enough to support and catch his fall. So for those of you who have not yet introduced exercise in your life, you have an invitation to bring it in a safe, wholesome way. Find a doctor, someone to work with, to find that sort of input that's going to help you. I have another patient who's 90 years old. I'm currently seeing. She recently, 3 months ago, she hired a personal trainer who comes to her house 3 days a week, and she is working with a personal trainer. I encouraged her to do that. She found an expert who working with her age group, 90 years old, starting with a personal trainer. She is just a tremendous, tremendous source of inspiration for me. So if you don't have exercise down pat, then here is your invitation. The next E is eliminate. So one of the interesting things that some of you may have experienced already is as we age, the digestive process tends to slow down. This can lead to slower transit times of food through the gut, which can cause constipation. So what do you think? You think constipation is a bad thing? Well, if you don't have daily full BMs, it could set a person up for chronic illness. In fact, recent research from the Alzheimer's Association defined chronic constipation as having one bowel motion every 3 days or more. And they proved that if this is the case, there was a direct association with cognitive decline and early dementia, and equals to over 3 years of premature aging. So this is another reason why it's so important to make sure you have a full BM every single day. If there's 3 lots of food coming in, there has to be at least 1 to 3 lots of BMs happening every day. Just imagine like a baby gets 6 bottles a day or 6 nurses a day. So the baby goes at least 6 to 8 times a day. For all sorts of reasons, I'm not going into now why that slows down, but one of the reasons is aging. So the invitation here is to find strategies that are wholesome for you in the long term to get your bowel moving. Now, that's part of technical elimination. The other elimination is begin to say no to bad foods, processed foods, excess bad quality fats like canola oil, like mayonnaise, lots of processed white flour, cakes, sweets, and chocolates that get in the way of long-term health. Bear with me because I'm not advocating you eliminate all those fun foods. I'm going to get to that in a minute. But if this is what you're doing most of the time, it does not cultivate healthy gut microbiome. So you want to eliminate also from your diet those foods that bother the gut. Late night eating, alcohol, excess sugar, caffeine, etc. tend to slow the gut down. Also in the eliminate camp are poor lifestyle habits, going to bed late, eating a big meal close to bedtime. I tell my patients about the 4-3-2-1 rule. What that means is ideally stop eating 4 hours before bed. If you can't manage that, go for 3. If you can't manage that, go for 2. If you can't manage that, go for 1. But researchers showed that if you have 3 to 2 hours before sleeping on an empty stomach, you'll get deeper restorative sleep. It will activate the rest and digest part of your parasympathetic nervous system and will help to settle and reset your gut. So it's a quick gut hack and sleep hack to stop eating. Baruch Hashem, we're not going to die of starvation. And you can wake up in the morning and have a big, healthy, scrumptious breakfast, but you'll get deep restorative sleep as well, because your brain is not competing with turning off your gut, digesting your food, and going into deep sleep. So that's an important point to bear in mind. And the next E, so we've got exercise, we've got to eliminate. The third E is eat gut-loving foods. The gut loves certain foods. There's a food group called prebiotics. These are foods that contain the right kinds of fibers that provide the substrate, provide the food for your gut microbiome, your gut bacteria to thrive off. So my favorite blend is to grind up flax seeds and chia seeds, and if you can, even get hemp seeds, which is available abroad. I have a friend, when they travel, they bring that for me, a kilogram of it at a time or a pound of it at a time. And I grind these 3 seeds, flax, chia, and hemp seeds, and I put 1 or 2 tablespoons on my soups and salads twice a day. These are outstanding prebiotic fibers that feed the gut microbiome and also have many, many other health benefits, including cholesterol, balancing, glucose regulation, etc. And this was the secret sauce that my wife used to help her patient suffering from anxiety and depression. She had a patient add a tablespoon or 2 twice a day of this combination of these prebiotic fibers of flax, chia, CHIA, and hemp seeds to her diet, and that gave her the kickstart to get that dopamine and serotonin back into her brain. So the other helpful foods are including artichoke hearts, which is another great form of prebiotic fibers. You can buy them frozen, and then you can prepare them, and they are absolutely delicious, using whole grains and whole, unsalted, unroasted nuts, seeds, berries. These all have phenomenal anti-inflammatory properties, help the gut microbiome, and turn off inflammation in the body. Then, of course, eating gut-healthy foods must include probiotics. So the best forms of probiotics are cultured vegetables like sauerkraut, pickles, etc. I've got right now 5 kilograms of sauerkraut fermenting away in my crock, and each week or 10 days I make a liter of fermented pickles. These have natural probiotic bacteria in, lactic acid ferments, that help support your gut. And you don't have to start making your own, but you can certainly start to increase your probiotics by taking a capsule. There are many, many kinds. Some are good, some are less than good. Find a healthcare practitioner to guide you to find the right one for your situation. But probiotics are absolutely key because they help to support a healthy gut, and from that affects the gut access for all those systems I mentioned previously. So the last E has to be enjoy. Now, there's a teaching I have called the power of zigzag. Zig means when you are 100% on track, you're doing all your self-care things, you're eating well, you're sleeping well, you're having a positive mental attitude, you're socializing in a healthy way, and you're on track. And if you're doing that 80% or 85% of the time, you are amazing. You're doing incredibly. And then there's the zag. The zag is you must let your hair down and have fun. And yes, have that ice cream or the pizza or whatever it happens to be. But it's in proportion to an 85% or 90% of zigging. You're going all out. And then you let your hair down for Shabbos, for parties, for Rosh Chodesh, for weddings, for simchas, etc. And that way you can get the benefit of enjoying your quality of your life. You're living it up in a wholesome, healthy way that doesn't cramp your style. And this is so important. Enjoyment will also trigger very important brain neurotransmitters, help decrease your stress, and give you a simchas achaim to keep you on track. So the zigzag and enjoying is an intentional part of your program. Obviously, the sicker a person is, the more unwell a person is, then unfortunately for that period of healing, they need to zig a lot more. I've had patients who are chronically ill with various conditions, and they're on a zig program for 3 months. And after 3 months, we can begin to zag a little bit and open up their repertoire of fun things. That allows for the healing to be kickstarted in their body. And I say 3 months because it takes about 90 to 120 days for the red blood cells to change over. And by the time you've zigged long enough, your body is beginning to fully heal itself. Okay, so let's all take another deep cleansing gut healing breath in, breathing in. And breathing out. Relax your shoulders, relax your belly. And let's continue. Now, aging can affect our digestion in many ways. However, 2 of the most important ways are reduced stomach acid and decreased enzyme production. Why is this important to know about? It's important because with reduced stomach acid, the stomach can no longer efficiently break down certain nutrients like protein. Protein is broken down through HCl. And if hydrochloric acid is insufficient in the gut, that means you may be eating protein, but it's not going into your muscles. The second is without proper stomach acid, B12 is not formed in the gut, and calcium is not processed adequately. This is really important to know about. I'm going to share with you at the end of this webinar some strategies in a link in the chat where you can learn, and I updated this recipe section just yesterday in preparation for today, where you can get my PDF download on how to make a bone broth and how to make a calcium-rich smoothie that even though gut acid may be reduced, you still can get some benefits. Now, the problem with having reduced gut acid is simply that if calcium is impaired, then osteoporosis or osteopenia, a weakness of the bones, is more likely to occur. So it's very important to make sure that stomach acid levels are kept adequately. And if a person has heartburn or GERD, gastroesophageal reflux, it's very important to balance having healthy stomach acid levels and not causing an inflammation in the gut. And the second is decreased enzyme production. When we age, the ability of the body to break down foods using enzymes, which is a different pathway as the acids, tends to reduce. And this makes it hard for the body to absorb nutrients. So the question my patients ask me is like, is there a way to test and identify what minerals I'm missing? There is no blood test that will tell you all the levels, all the minerals in your body, what levels you're at. There is a simple test that I use extensively in my clinic, and that is called a hair mineral analysis, where we take a sample of hair from the head, send it off to a lab, and this is incredibly simple and effective test to reveal the underlying mineral balance in the body. It helps me to identify how to increase the gut absorption, how to help with brain health and anti-aging in my patient group and longevity, and how to encourage people to have strong, healthy bones. So if you want more information about the hair mineral analysis, you're welcome to reach out to me on my email or WhatsApp, and we can get that information off to you. Here, I just want to give you an example of how a test result looks, and you'll see how informative it is. This is how a test result looks from the hair mineral analysis. We have all the major minerals here at the bottom of calcium, magnesium, sodium, potassium, copper, zinc, iron, manganese, magnesium, etc. And I can see at a glance where my patients' levels are of their minerals. And if they're poor absorption, they're going to, the likelihood of succumbing to illness and not having the vitality that they need is high. So this is a very important test to do. Also, if you look here under B, you can see that B stands for boron, and this patient has negligible amounts of boron. Boron is an exceptionally important trace mineral required for having strong, healthy bones. I'll send you that link, and you'll be able to learn about osteoporosis prevention and treatment and download my guide at the same time. So that is why the hair mineral analysis is so important. So I want to begin to transition to the next stage in this journey. And the next stage in this journey is an invitation to you. An invitation to you is to begin to think about how you can move yourself along your health trajectory to the next level. So let me share this screen with you. Here we have a concept called the 1% rule. And on the left side of this picture, you can imagine where you are right now. And I put the little person just a third into the bridge, because the very fact that you're here today watching this webinar, if you get to watch the replay, means that you've already made a start. It means that you're already here, you're already learning and growing and thinking about ways you can step up your health and well-being. I'd like you all now to answer this question for yourself, and if you'd like, to please put it in the chat. Take a moment to think where you are now and where you want to be. Here is your question. What's one simple and easy step you can take now that you've learned from this webinar so far, that by the end of 2024, how we began the webinar today with your visualization, when you look back, you'll feel like this year was a dream come true in terms of your digestive health and overall well-being. Please take a moment. This is where you get to do some work. Write down for yourself, or even take a screenshot of this picture, this question. Go ahead and type in the chat, please. What is one thing that you can do now that you've learned from this webinar that you can begin to bring into your life? The reason I call this the 1% rule is it's all about consistent, incremental, small, tiny changes. It's not about revamping your whole lifestyle in one go. It's like Pesach cleaning. You don't try and Pesach clean the entire house in one day. Some people start in Jan, some people start Purim time, some people start the Rosh Chodesh Nisan, wherever it is for you, but you don't do it in one day. It's totally overwhelming. The invitation here is, what one thing can you do that will help you move forward? Someone's written in the chat, recommit to the healthy morning routine. Thank you. Beautiful. And in that morning routine you're going to recommit to, I suggest doing one thing for the week. Between now and Tu B'Shvat, take on one thing. For all of you who are here in this webinar or watching the replay, the invitation, choose one thing that you can bring into your life, obviously speaking to your doctor where necessary, that will move you across the bridge to your vision, to where you want to be. Someone else has written in the chat, exercise every day. Someone else has said more fruits, nuts, and berry. Thank you so much. Yes, someone's written not to eat 2 hours before bed. This is one of the deepest research pieces that will enhance your sleep and help your gut significantly. So if you haven't yet written down something for yourself, you can still do it even today, tomorrow, whenever you decide. What one thing can you do to advance your health and well-being? This is not about intellectual knowledge. We all know far too much. The purpose is to take our head knowledge and bring it into heart knowledge. As we say in davening, V'yadata hayom v'hashavosa ala vavecha. That's not about being smart in your head. It's about translating your head knowledge into your body, so you begin to behave, think and feel differently as a result. So someone's written, be more mindful of what I do and act every day. Fantastic. Don't watch PC screens an hour before bed. Fantastic. Wherever you are holding, whatever is necessary for you, please go ahead. This is an invitation. And then once you've considered what one simple step is, write it down. And I invite you, research shows that if you write it down, you'll be 45% more successful in doing that. And if you want to ramp it up to 95%, share it with a friend. Have an accountability partner to help you for the next week until Tu B'Shvat to take this one thing and bring it into your life. Have a WhatsApp chat, call them up and say, hey, what did you choose? What did you choose? Let's do it together. When we work together in groups, we do extremely well. And that is the whole purpose of functionally integrated medicine, is developing a team, because team stands for together, everybody achieves more. So when you find a friend, a husband, a wife, a loved one, doesn't matter, you can really, really advance your health and well-being in an incredible way. Now, I just want to, as we're moving towards the end, I don't want to pop your bubble, but I want to invite you to be real for a moment. The truth about progress, most people think that when you take something on new, that it's a linear upward trajectory and it's all good. The answer is that can't be further from the truth. The answer is on the right side, how progress really works. We begin with an idea like the ones you've posted to me in the chat, and then a day, 2 days, 3 days, there's crisis, you forgot, you fall off the wagon, and if you're not careful, the self-talk goes south, and it's not necessarily a wholesome experience. But when you know that the process of progress is an upward trajectory, but the micro movements are tons of ups and downs where you feel like you want to give up and you're hopeless, that is all just mind games. Find an accountability partner, get on track, and know that's normal, it's wholesome, it's okay, it's part of the human experience, and just begin again now. Whenever you choose to begin again, reboot. If your computer goes onto blue screen or freezes, all you need to do is just reboot, wait, take a deep breath in, it comes back up again, and you start again. You do that with yourself every time. If you have to do it 100 times a day, just keep doing it. Reboot, restart, recommit. So I want to thank you all so much for joining me on this webinar. And once again to Edie, it's because of you, Edie, we're all here today enjoying our time together. Go ahead, if you have a camera, you can scan this code. This is my gift to you. I'm also going to put them in the chat, so you can copy them in the chat. There are 3 gifts I'm giving you today for showing up. And the first is the 6 most overlooked foods for gut health as we age. And that's in the chat. The second is osteoporosis, the secret to its prevention and reversal, with my updated recipes and calcium-rich smoothie. And the last is you can discover the best exercise for gut health and longevity. So that I put in the chat. If you haven't already scanned the barcode, the QRC code, you still can. And you can copy the chat and the links in the chat and come back to it later at your own convenience. So I just want to say thank you so much for showing up today. If it wasn't for you, I wouldn't be here. And thanks again, Edie, for putting this together and giving me an opportunity to share with all those who are willing to hear. And if it's okay with you, we'll take a couple of minutes of live Q&A.